Okay, very interesting question. Many people have this question. They ask like, what is big data? And second thing they ask is big data and data science or machine learning go hand in hand? First and foremost, I would like to tell you, like, definitely we are in that time of human evolution where we are generating a lot of data. Okay, and these data points which are getting generated is not just internal to the organization but external to the organization. When I say external to the organization, you have data which is actually being generated in social media like Twitter or Facebook. You have data which is being generated in terms of customer feedback, in terms of reviews. You have data which is being generated in terms of blogs. And if you look at the data generation and the different forms of data generation, predominantly 70 to 80% of the data which is being generated is actually text data. After that, we have other forms of data as well, like image data is another form of data, video data is another form of data, and of course we have the structured data formats, which I say, like when I say structured data formats, these are transactional data or any other form of data which is kept in a SQL based database. So we have all these different forms of data. So you as a data scientist, of course, you need to understand how to handle these different data frames. And also when you need to understand is the volume at which this data is getting generated in these different areas. So your traditional SQL based databases do not serve the purpose anymore. So you will need to keep this data in a big data basis. One is from the storage perspective. Second is from the perspective of keeping a replication of the data in many copies. So there is a fail-safe mode that if one copy of the data is destroyed, you have another copy to fall back. Third is, of course, when you are processing this data, you would like to process this in a distributed and a parallel computing environment. That's where big data really comes in. So you have big data areas like Spark and Hadoop. So this should actually give you a picture why we need big data platforms. One is the volume of data being generated is huge. Second, if you want to process this large volume of data, you will need a different parallel and distributed computing architectures or computer frameworks for which you have this big data framework such as Hadoop and Spark, and that is the reason why you need it. But having said that, if you look at most of the problems which you are really going to come across in many of the organizations till date are not big data problems. But big data, if you know as a data scientist, is definitely a big plus. But big data problems are pretty much still not majority of the problems which you will face as a data scientist or as a business user who wants to analyze data to generate some insights. So big data problems are definitely there, and if I can take it from an industry perspective, okay, coming to big data, when you look at large internet companies such as Google, Facebook, they generate a lot of data. So any analysis which is done on the data, you have to know how to handle large amounts of data which are in gigabytes or petabytes. So you will need knowledge about frameworks or platforms such as Hadoop or Spark. But having said that, most of the problem which you guys will come across as either a data scientist or someone who is a big data analyst is data which is not that large in size. It could be much smaller in size, and this could be data even because whenever you do the analysis or build the model, you build on a sample of data. The sample of data could be definitely less than 1 GB or 2 GB of data, which again falls in the small data paradigm. So analyzing that data should not be really a challenge for you. So as a data scientist, if you ask me like, hey, should I know big data? I will say, hey, if you know big data, it's definitely a big plus. But please understand that big data itself a huge area. Okay, it requires 3 months to 6 months to master it. Data science is also a huge area which requires 3 months to 6 months to master it. So if you are someone who's trying to actually employ themselves in a very short time frame, then if you are trying to master both of these, it's going to take you at least 6 months to 10 months, even with all your best of abilities and the best of attention or orientation and the best of efforts, going to take you 6 months to 10 months to master both of them. But if you look at one of them and you want to master one of them and actually get a job quickly, probably a 3 months to 6 months time window is what it is all about. So most of the companies which are in the financial services, telecom, I will say retail vertical, some of them problems over there, not all problems, are definitely problems which are not in the big data paradigm. But having said that, there is a very good chance that, especially when you combine data from multiple sources, because that is what as a data scientist you are required to do, like not just build a data science model or machine learning model on structured database, but data which is actually combining a structured database from data which is like text data coming from social media. In all such kind of areas where that is going to happen, you may have to actually handle large amount of data which may fall in the big data ecosystem. But the point of proving the model or building the model in the initial POC stage will predominantly be in the small data phase, but probably in the deployment phase, when you are actually whatever model which you have built and you're deploying it, then it could be in the big data. So it's good to have the big data knowledge, but for you to start off and to actually make yourself employable, you can start off by picking up the data science knowledge and then pick up big data after some course of time.